Hi cruise lovers, my name's Nancy. I'm with the Cruisaholics YouTube channel, and last week I introduced myself to you with my first ever video where I was on camera myself, not just a room tour on a ship or something like that, actually me talking to you one-on-one. And that video was about cruising during hurricane season. Well, today I'm going to talk about something that we all need before a trip, something we all need to do, whether we're going on a cruise or something that we need to do before going on any trip, though this is going to be geared more towards cruising, and that's packing tips. We all need to pack. We all need our clothes, our toiletries, our documents, and all that good stuff before we go on a trip. So I want to talk about some of the stuff that you will need to pack before you go. One thing I've discovered mostly about new cruisers and also about veteran cruisers is the fact that a lot of people tend to overpack. Something that you should consider is if you don't wear 30 outfits in 1 week at home, you are probably not going to wear 30 outfits in 1 week on a cruise. So probably cut about more than half of what you're planning on packing. You don't need it. One thing that I find very useful for packing for my trip is making a packing list. And I'm about to do one here real shortly because I'm about to head out on Freedom of the Seas this coming Sunday. I hope to give you some footage on board, some more information, some video from the ship, so look out for that. That'll be coming up probably here next week or the week after once I put everything together. Still learning this video editing stuff, though I did watch some videos today and learned a little bit about how to do some more things, though I'm not quite comfortable, but I'm going to be playing around with it here in the days to come. So, I don't know about you, but I like to join the Facebook page for the cruise that I'm about to go on. And you're going to chat with fellow cruisers, fellow people that you're going to be on the ship with. And one thing I always see, and I always found so strange, is everyone's posting about, it could be like 30 days before the cruise, I'm already packed. And I'm just like, what? You don't need any of those clothes, toiletries, you're already completely packed 30 days before your cruise? What? I don't know. I've always packed the night before my trip, and more recently, if it's a short trip, I've actually packed the morning of. That's because I do something that does help me pack to make sure I don't forget anything, and that is making a packing list. If you do forget something and you need to buy it on board, it's going to cost you. So make that packing list. The one time I did not use my list, I forgot a swimsuit and I had to spend $160 to buy one on board. And the top doesn't even fit right because they didn't have my size. So make that packing list before you go, and that way as you're packing you can just check everything off. You could do it the night before, you could do it 2 days before you leave for your trip, whether you're getting on a plane or going directly to port. I live in Florida, so yes, I am sometimes able to pack that morning of. So a couple tips for packing for the Caribbean. You do not need 7 swimsuits, or however long your trip is. You don't need a swimsuit for every day. You can rotate swimsuits. You can wear one while the other one's drying and then keep rotating them as the cruise progresses. In your shower, you're going to have a clothesline that you can go ahead and hang it up on. You can also take towels, roll it up, make sure you wring it out really good. That's going to help it dry a lot faster. The next thing I'm going to tell you is it's probably going to shock you. Closed-toed shoes, long pants, jacket. Yes, on a Caribbean cruise. I know Royal Caribbean ships, including the one I'm about to go on, Freedom of the Seas, they have an ice skating rink on board. Guess what? You need long pants if you want to do some free skating. Now, if you don't want to do free skate, great. They have a great ice skating show you may want to go to, and because it's on ice, it's pretty cold in there, so you may want to have those long pants. If you're going to the dining room. Now, it's not often enforced, though it is in the written dress code that you are supposed to wear long pants to dinner. And there are some more formal venues, such as if you're going to like a chef's table or higher end dining, that may require it as well. It will vary from ship to ship, cruise line to cruise line, and venue to venue. But I would always recommend bringing pair of jeans, and a pair of dress pants as well. Bring a light jacket, because like I said, if you're going to some of these places, even at dinner, even in some of the shows, I've felt it a little bit cold. If they have the AC cranked up a little too high on the ship, I've been a little cold and like to have a light sweater to wear. Closed-toed shoes. Again, if you might be doing a lot of walking, you might be hiking in port, you might do an excursion where you're going through a rainforest, or it just depends on where you're going. You might want to have those closed-toed shoes as well. And so therefore you're going to want socks. Socks. You might be participating in the rock climbing wall. Guess what? You need socks. They're going to give you things to put over your shoes, but you're also going to need socks if you're going to do the ice skating. You're going to put those skates on. So just bring those. If you're doing any tours of the galley, you are required to have closed-toed shoes. They did let my husband go with sandals and socks, but they do require your toes to be covered. So make sure you bring those items. I know you might think you don't need them. I would just bring them. And then plan out what you're going to wear each day. If you're going to dress up in the evening, then bring something for that evening. But you're not going to change clothes, your casual clothes 3 times throughout the day. It's not going to happen. So just figure out what you're going to wear each day and pack it. It could be a sundress, it could be your beach cover up. If you're going to spend most of the day at the pool, and then just have something for the evening. But just plan it out, and you can always rewear something that you only wore for a couple hours. It's trust me, I know you do it at home, you could do it on a cruise. The next thing I want to talk about, undergarments. That's the one thing I will pack extra of. I'm not going to go into details. I think you know some of the reasons why you may need extra undergarments. It doesn't take up a lot of space, so that's the one thing. Go ahead and pack extra. Myself, I usually pack 2 per day of the cruise, and then I usually plus 1 or 2 bonus pairs on top of that. Another thing you may want to check out is if your cruise is going to have any theme nights. I know a lot of cruise ships like to do a white night, so you may want to include that in your packing, and that's probably going to be your evening wear, so you're probably not going to need a separate evening outfit for the same evening. I'm going to be gone over Halloween next week, so I'm also going to be packing a Halloween costume as well. So that's not something I would normally pack, but that is going to be one of my theme nights. A lot of times you'll also see like a different decade, like they'll do 70s, 80s, or sometimes even 50s. I've seen those as theme nights as well. So if you like to participate in those types of things, they're never required. It's usually only for going to the party. Then go ahead and bring the clothes for that as well. Also, back to shoes, even if you don't like to wear flip-flops and you're going to say I always walk around in sneakers, bring a pair of flip-flops. You're not going to be putting your sneakers on at the pool, and you may not want to be walking around barefoot. You can bring water shoes or some kind of beach shoe. I would recommend to bring. Water shoes are actually a great choice, because if you are going to be doing any snorkeling or going to the beach, there might be some rough surfaces that it'll keep you from cutting your feet up, and you can just walk through the water with those. Another thing you may want to consider is bringing your own snorkel gear. Now, if you're doing an excursion, many times they will provide it for you, or you can rent it from the tour operator at a minimal charge. But a lot of people like to go snorkeling off the beach. Last year, my husband and I were in Grand Cayman, and we did a nice snorkeling right off the beach there, but we had to have our own snorkel equipment. Otherwise, we would not have been able to do it. There was no tour or anything, so that was one reason why you might want to have your own. You don't have to bring it, you don't have to do it, but that's just an option for you. As far as toiletries go, of course you want to bring any prescription medications that you're going to need, and make sure they're going to last for the entire time of the trip. Make sure that you also want to pack certain over-the-counter medications. I would always recommend packing cold medication, because in case you do become ill, that may be hard to purchase on board. They don't always have it for sale, because they do want you to take that trip to the medical center. Obviously, if you are really sick, yes, you should visit the ship's doctor, but if you're just maybe around somebody, or you feel it's something really mild, it'll help you feel better. Same thing goes with if you need, I would bring stomach medication. Even if you say you have a strong stomach, pack pack antacids, packed anti-diarrhea medicine. Sometimes just having all of this overeating, and trust me, the cruise lines are going to feed you and feed you and feed you. Well, it might upset your stomach a little bit. So I would bring, anti-diarrhea medicine, antacids. If you're prone to motion sickness, bring some Dramamine, Bonine, or even see your doctor for the patch. There's different options, and you'll find out what works the best for you. It's not a one size fits all, but definitely bring that type of stuff with you. Hair dryers, it is provided on board. The cruise line hair dryers are not always the greatest, though they are functional. They will dry your hair. If you're particular, then you can bring your own. You also are allowed to bring flat irons, curling irons. Those items are allowed to be brought on board with you. Those are not provided. They do provide limited like shampoo, conditioner. Suites tend to provide better products. The basic rooms are usually just a thing in the shower dispenser, or maybe a bar of soap. It's usually pretty limited. So if you are particular, yes, bring your own. Bring the small bottles. Don't bring them too big, especially if you're flying, or if it's going to be in your carry-on. You want to go ahead and bring those items with you. Another thing that people like to bring, I never participated in this myself, is some people though like to bring those magnetic hooks. The walls in your rooms are magnetic, so if you want to hang anything up, you can go ahead and just pop them on the wall. You can hang your beach cover up. You can hang up, extra towels if you don't find there's enough in the bathroom. I'd say that's more necessary if you're traveling to, 3, 4 or more people in one room and you're all sharing those close quarters. They're not going to be as hooks probably for everybody's towels and bathing suits or whatever you're hanging up. Another thing people like to bring is if you're going to spend a lot of time at the pool, or those clips to put on the back of your chair. Again, I never bring them, but a lot of people do and find them useful. It does keep your towel from sliding down while you're laying there, falling on your head or all over your shoulders. It is nice to have. Now, we also need to talk about things not to bring. Well, it's important you go through your cruise line's prohibited item list. Each cruise line posts on their website what is allowed and what is not allowed, and they are pretty clear on what you're allowed to bring on board. I know a lot of people always ask on message boards, what can I bring, this, can I bring that, can I bring this? Go by what the cruise line suggests you can bring and what you cannot bring. Just because somebody else said you can bring it doesn't mean you can bring it. You cannot bring your clothes iron. You cannot bring a handheld steamer for your clothes. Those items are strictly prohibited. Basically any item that produces heat. So I've seen all kinds of crazy items confiscated. Rice cookers, crock pots. It's ridiculous. No, you cannot bring any of those items on board. But except, like I mentioned, you can bring the hair items, like the curling iron, flat iron for your hair, blow dryer. Those items are allowed. You cannot bring an extension cord. You cannot bring a surge protector. Royal Caribbean recently expanded that. They used to be allowed to bring like a charging block that didn't have an extension cord or a surge protector. Those items are now banned as well, unless it is strictly USB. USB they are still allowing. A lot of people are going to tell me, oh, I brought all these items recently on a cruise with me and they didn't take them. That does not mean it's allowed. That just means they didn't see it and they did not take it. Just so you're aware. You are not allowed to bring your own liquor on board. You are allowed to bring a limited amount of wine on certain cruise lines. You need to check with the cruise line to see what you can bring and what you cannot bring. There are limits to it, and it has to be carried on with you. You cannot put it in your checked luggage. You do have to carry it on board. Also, some cruise lines allow you to bring bottled water and cans of soda on board with you on embarkation day. Again, has to be carried on. So those items are kind of heavy, so I know it's a little discouraging. I think that's part of the plan, is it kind of forces you to have to buy theirs, because you're probably not going to want to carry all this heavy stuff around with you until you can get to your room. So make sure you just check with the cruise lines what you can and cannot bring. Another hot item that's talked about you cannot bring is CBD, THC, or any types of illegal drugs. Now I know you're going to say, oh, but medical marijuana is allowed in my state, or recreational marijuana is allowed in my state. It's not allowed on the cruise. It doesn't matter what state your cruise is going out of. It is not allowed. It is still illegal in many countries, and that includes CBD hemp items as well. It is not just THC items. It is the lesser stuff that's legal in most of the United States. There's still many countries this items are not allowed. And if you bring certain items, they can actually kick you off the ship if you are caught, and there could be legal consequences. So just don't do it. Now my biggest takeaway here is go through your cruise lines restricted items, make sure you don't have any of those, and make your list of everything you're going to need. Itemize your clothes day by day so you don't overpack, and just make sure you account for all the toiletries you're going to need for your trip. That way you can go through and check everything off. You don't forget anything, because you don't want to buy anything on board. It's going to be a little bit costly, a lot more costly than buying it at home. I hope you found this information informative. I hope you found it helpful to you. I will talk probably later about packing for different types of cruises, such as Alaska, or different types of destinations, maybe even non-cruises. So we can talk about that another time. So please be among the first to subscribe and like my video. I appreciate any feedback. Still learning video editing. I hope to future videos have edited. I might even redo this video and my previous video with some edits and some flashy stuff and some introductions. So once I figure that out, I plan on bringing that towards you. But please help me grow and help promote my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and bye for now.